Hey, welcome back to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message. It's going to be a collective message, meaning anyone that resonates with this message, well, it was for you. I know that energy is fluid, so no, you may be here to check up on your person that you are tapped into. And the message may be coming across from their perception, so you got to take that into consideration. Just put the energy where it best resonates for you and never force anything. Take what you need, leave the rest. If you're new to the channel, any important links, any important information you can find in the description box below. All important links such as the other YouTube channels, my website, Patreon. you know, um, Here at the Psychic Soul Healer channel, I like to pride myself on starting off every reading looking at the shadow and then looking at the situation and then doing shadow healing based on the readings that unfold. Because a lot of times, what we want obviously changes as we grow older and new things happen. We evolve and we want different things, but the same type of experiences play out. They're called karmic loops, karmic themes that continue to play out within our lives. Sometimes it's every 7 years, sometimes it's every 14. They're called karmic cycles. So understanding what your behaviorism is that creates the karma allows you to obviously integrate the spiritual lesson. We want to stop recreating undesirable life experiences, right? If you keep attracting the same types of people that maybe they don't emotionally give you anything, you have to ask yourself, what are you doing that contributes to that experience? Because really, you're only having a relationship with yourself. Everything that comes into your life is a reflection of yourself because it's the way you perceive it. You perceive people the way that you are. You perceive people, again, you'll think that they'll think the way that you are, that they'll deal with situations the same way, and that's not true. That's what karmic themes and relationships and why those situations play out the way that they do is mainly to help us see different perceptions. And so we get to see our triggers, right? The things that need to be healed within us. That's when there's a lot of emotion that we need to address. If the emotion wasn't there, we wouldn't know that we need healing, right? Well, we all need healing. But once we heal the spiritual wounds, it broadens our perceptions. We actually get spiritual gifts a lot of times because we're not seeing a truth, a reality about ourselves. Sometimes it's healing energy that really transcends us and transcends us to a completely different way of living, way of being. So shadow healing is really important. Now, again, this message is going to be for anyone that taps in it. Now, if you want to win a free psychic reading with me, by the way, all you need to do is, if the video resonates with you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then write the magic word in your comment bar. The magic word I always take from the Psychic Soul Healer deck. And we're going to see also how that word is tied into the reading, because a lot of times it is. It's a theme. All right, so prudence. So prudence to me is all about living from a high moral code, but thinking about your future. Sometimes leaving a legacy behind, leaving financial wealth sometimes behind, because when you are coming from a high moral code, you are aligned with the laws of love, the laws of God, the laws of nature. So again, we look at the spiritual energies first, so don't get freaked out by like, what is this type reading? Well, again, this is saying you've evolved into a higher state of consciousness yourself, meaning what you used to tolerate, you're no longer able to tolerate. And that means within people and situations, because the main focus is on making your future happy. You are no longer focused on past people that have brought you down. You are no longer focused on woulda, coulda, shoulda's, mourning people. You really, and now you've come to a place in your life where I feel like you're happy and you can see a destination for yourself. I feel like a lot of you are on your soul's path. You're doing what you love. And again, and so exquisiteness, and it's this that proves it, because exquisiteness is talks about individuality, because what everybody thinks is exquisite is different, right? What I may think is exquisite, you may not think is exquisite, right? One size does not fit all. This talks about individuality. This talks about um, your essence, and your essence of how you do everything. What is your contribution to humanity? Like, what do you bring forth? So this talks about your soul's path, which I knew because, again, of prudence. So prudence, wanting to do things from, again, the highest moral caliber, like where maybe before you didn't have a marker of what it was supposed to look like. A lot of times we try to be perfect, and there is no such thing as perfect. We shoot for excellence. And so you've learned a lot. This is what this is telling me pretty much, that you're on your spiritual path, that you're living your true individuality, your purpose. You found your purpose. You feel connected to other people. You've done work, but unfortunately, there's been a lot of people still in your life that haven't done work, that don't fit into who you are as a person today, is what I'm feeling. Innovative. And see, you get ideas. Your exquisiteness is the fact that you get ideas. You're a highly sensitive person that is a creative person that maybe doesn't do things technically correct. I feel like a lot of you guys are indigos. So indigos get a lot of ideas. They're playful, they're childlike, they have like almost like fairy energy. They're different, they're unique. They teach people from a different perception through their life. They're trailblazers, okay? And they're trailblazers because they're not afraid to take chances. They think outside the box. They live more from a spiritual, intuitive level than a logical and linear way. Again, doesn't logically make sense to a lot of people when watching an indigo, because indigos do things from a sense of clairsentient, which is feeling. It's not logical. This is how they're so innovative, because they try things. They embody things, and a lot of people notice that about you. So you're drawing a lot of attention to yourself as well, because of the fact that you're different, and because you're coming from a high vibration, you're getting good results, or people perceive that you're giving great results. Again, shadow dislocation. However, there is the shadow part of self, which is the parts of yourself that you've detached from. And those parts of self are getting triggered now. And I feel like triggered because you were bullied a lot. Like, so there's a sense of, ooh, determination fell out. So we're going to take it. So determination from, again, integrating your shadow of becoming whole to really create more, and but also to deal with, again, narrow-minded people, bullies, people that are jealous, people that are seeing your uniqueness and that you're shine and that you create. Things seem to happen easily for you. They don't see the all the work and the energy that you put forth. I don't believe that you're a flaunty type person. So you're dealing with people, like I said, that even though you've evolved, they haven't, and you're triggering them. I mean, but you're determined to live, to really put all your energy on your future. And this is what it's saying. And part of your shadow is anyone that, when you feel weak, right? When we feel weak, when we feel bullied and we don't feel safe, right? That's that's part of the wound. And so you might have grown up in an environment where you didn't feel safe, where you felt that your parent might have been somebody that was angry all the time, that was very narrow-minded, that only sees things from their perception. And now here you are, 5 years later, 10 years later, 15 years later, reliving the same karmic theme. This is why we look at the spiritual energy first. The spiritual energy is all about finding your unique individuality and embracing it, because everyone else can see it. So, but embodying it will help you transcend limitations of your mind so that you can integrate the wound, because the focus really is on being the best version of yourself. Now, how does that have to do with anything? Because understand, what I'm seeing is that you're on your path and everything is going very smoothly the way that it's supposed to. A lot of times we may not be seeing anything happen, but that doesn't mean that spiritual energies aren't at works here. It's that you're again on your path and you're holding that vision. You're becoming the energy. You're finding yourself. You're creating yourself. So it's happening. It's a process. But understand that is always when the devil per se comes, and that comes when you are in the midst of about to create yourself, to manifest. So we say, well, what can trip us up? What are the wounds? What are the wounds? Unaware, not able to see clearly, ignoring gut feelings. So again, sometimes be willing to see the truth, be willing to listen to yourself, right? Especially if you're dealing with bullies. A lot of times those people may disguise themselves as friends. They might disguise themselves. So being aware of and listening to your higher self. And you can do that by training yourself on being able to connect to that higher self. And that's through meditation, doing the Silva Ultramind method. There's some YouTube videos that you can actually listen and learn how to get to that brain frequency that allows you to tap into the higher self, that allows you to become aware of the subtleties, so you can really see clearly and pick up on the intuitive insight, especially when you're surrounded by people that may not be clapping for you. You may not feel like you have enough support right now. Apathy, no longer caring about things. Okay, so right. So if somebody makes you feel bad about being on your path, you're not really going to care. You're not going to put in the energy. I also feel like some of you are dealing with a person that isn't really aware of how to be in a good relationship. They tend to be all about themselves, and they bob back and forth between really wanting to be in the relationship and not caring. And I feel like at this point, you don't even care whether you are in a relationship with them, because they are so not aware of how they act, how they contribute to the undesirable experiences that unfold between you and them. And so what happens is that they, after a while, they just know that you're not happy, and they are used to people not being happy with them because they don't know how to communicate, that they become so emotional that after a while it exhausts them, and then they don't care, because that's what happens when we keep thinking about something and obsessing about something and obsessing about something. we get burnt out. And when we get burnt out, it's like we wind up eventually not caring because we're exhausted. And it actually doesn't feel good to hold on anymore. So we just have to let go. And I feel like that's what you feel like. You feel like your person has let go. Exhibitish, hogging the spotlight, needing attention. Yeah, because it's like, and because they're not getting attention from you, they're talking to other people. They want to get attention from other people. It's like instead of coming to you and being humble and surrendering their ego and talking about their feelings, they would rather trigger you to get the response so you would give them more. So this is like an issue because in the beginning, we see this great energy, right? That you're on your path, you're coming from a high vibration, you're thinking about only about your future. And you're different and you're creating a lot of buzz. People are talking about you. So you might be someone that's very in the public eye. You could be someone that does own a YouTube channel. You could be someone that is, again, a politician, a musician, an artist, someone, again, that deals with a lot of people. So you're creating a lot of buzz. People, again, like what you're doing. And there's so, but you also have people that are competitors, people that, again, that you're triggering because you're out in the public eye, whatever you're doing. Like I said, I feel like it's a competitive field. A lot of ego is based in this. So remember, when we're dealing with the ego, our wounds are there too. And so you're dealing with people that are kind of throwing shade, kind of coming from a place of lack, and they're looking at all that you have, even though you've worked for all that you've had, but those people haven't worked as hard, haven't made the right decisions, haven't done right. So what happens is that you're getting this from friends, so-called friends, but not even friends. I feel like the colleague friends and some friends that just, again, see that you're just doing for yourself. People that are supposed to be supportive is what I'm getting at, and they're not. And then you have a connection with a person that, unless you cower to them to make them feel good, they're not aware of what they need to do. They're not aware of how to be in a relationship. I feel like they never needed to. I feel like they're good looking and they just never needed to. And so now they're dealing with someone of your caliber, and they need to be able to communicate. And their way of communicating is to play games, because what they're doing is I have to get attention. I'm going to show you that I'm desirable from all these other people so that you hope that that you're going to find me, you're going to become jealous and find me desirable. And so this is toxic because it creates a lot of triggers. Speaking of triggers, let's look at the triggers. Resentment. I feel I have held too much resentment within this connection, and it manifests into conflict. So it's, again, when you're not getting what you need. And I believe on both parties, because this person that you're connected to doesn't know how to communicate. So because they don't know how to communicate, they get angry. There's resentment because they want you to know how they feel. They just want you to be able to give to them. They don't want to have to really learn or do anything about you. So you're triggering them because they have fear of abandonment. They're used to people only giving to them, but then they get bored within relationships too, because no one wants to be with someone that goes along with everything and doesn't have their own identity. So, and I feel like you're resentful because you're like, okay, you supposedly care about me, you say all the right words, but the actions are not, you don't do anything. They're just words. So I see you don't really want to put the time in, you don't want to put the effort in, and you know what you bring to the table. So there is resentment, and there would be resentment they don't really have a reason to be resentment. They were actually resentful because you're resentful. Which it's like, I don't want to change. That's what that pretty much means. Trust. And then, right, I feel very uneasy in this connection because I can no longer trust you. And so there's an emotional like abandonment because it's like you refuse to give me on an emotional level and you know that that's what I need. But then you're still expecting me to give. This is why you would be drained in this relationship, but you're both drained because they actually really feel like they should have it. They're so narrow minded. And I think the shadow dislocation is really the detachment from self and the trauma that you went through. So understand whenever you go through trauma, you wind up going into the imagination part of your mind, but we are no longer present anymore. So this way, there is like an innovation part of you where you can manifest and create really easily, and that's why you're very different and unique. And people see that you're unique because you get your ideas from different viewpoints. And those different viewpoints are not from anything outside. They're all come from deep within inside yourself. And so you're all about trust. I feel like you're an empath. And so you're a highly sensitive, you're an indigo, like we said. And so indigos are different and they are all about trust. And once there's trust issues in a relationship, I feel like you detaching from this relationship, to be honest with you. Cards down. So let's just see what another trigger is going to be. Because forgotten. I felt invisible and forgotten by you as if I never existed. Yeah, because it's like with the moment that you were like, this is what I need from you, they were like, no, I'm not going to give it to you. Deliberately did it. They deliberately sabotaged the relationship. And so it's almost like a karmic theme of this person making it like you're so difficult to love. You're so difficult to and maybe on a lot of levels you never emotionally got what you needed from anybody, starting from your parents and then other relationships, maybe even friends on some level. And then you have to come to a place of saying, well, if I am always not feeling satisfied, if I'm always not emotionally feeling satisfied, is the answer outside of me? No, we know that the answer is inside of me. So really I can't really ever really be forgotten about unless I forget about myself. When I put the energy into myself and create myself through my exquisiteness, right? Through my difference, that you do get ideas. And that's how we live our bliss. And I feel like this is what you did. You lived your bliss. And so even though this person made you feel forgotten about, now I feel like the tables have turned where now they feel forgotten about. So there's this whole mirroring aspect, but really it started because they didn't want to be fair. They didn't want to be fair. And then instead of talking things out, they played games, and it created a lot of resentment on both parties. And you can see that's why it would be toxic, why you'd feel drained in a relationship like this. It's like the person's so one-sided. So what are the hidden truths? Because this is what has happened. So what are the hidden truths? What does this person feel about you? What does that person feel about you? I love you. So this would be like a case of someone that's emotional, unavailable. It's that the more that they care, the more that they're not going to give, the more that they're afraid, and the more that they want things on their terms because they're afraid of getting hurt. And so why they wouldn't give anything. So it doesn't surprise me because we see that a lot. If you grew up in an environment where you were felt like not loved, then, or that every time you were in a relationship where you felt like you fell in love with the person, but they completely betrayed you, you could see why this would happen, why the person would again go into survival mode. And though it makes you feel better that they do have a good intention, the manifestation is still bad. They would still need to integrate their wounds. And you would need to understand why you were attracted to this. So, which we are doing right now by saying, hey, well, you identify love with people that are emotionally not available, people that are not nice to you, people that don't give you what you need. It's like almost like addicted to drama. And that may be this person as well. This person for sure. You not as bad, but you keep creating the pain within inside yourself, keeping you in that place of limitation of like how you grew up. That's why it's bad. You don't know how hard it was to let you go, right? Because this person knew that they had to apologize, they needed to surrender their ego, and they didn't want to do that. So, what it came down to was either they were going to apologize or they were going to like have to let you go. And it looks like their ego won, even though that they love you. Now that they might be having a realization that that was a huge mistake right now. Um, but it wasn't easy for them to do. That was a mind over heart decision. I left you before you could leave me, which we know because the person never really wanted to give anything. So they also knew that what you needed, and they also could feel that you were getting irritated. I don't think that they expected you to cut it the way that you cut it so fast. And I think because you were on to them, it was too many times that they would breadcrumb and then pretend to give and then like at last minute like pull out almost, like not give, say like yeah we're gonna meet up and then not. So coming from a place of fear, they have a lot of wounds that they need to like really integrate. They have to see why they have a problem giving to people that they love. What trauma has happened in their life, and then integrate it, heal it. But for you is to understand that I want to work things out. So they're in a place where they want to work things out, but they're still emotionally unavailable. This is the issue. Their shadow is that they are not capable of giving because of their past relationships. So until they heal their past relationships, and that would not mean to go back into those relationships, but look at what transpired, look at why it fell apart, and take ownership of what they did. Because the fear is not knowing what one does and why things play out, and the fear of it happening again. So this person's not present. They're so narrow minded in the fact that they only see the experiences that they lived. And there is love. See, there is this. So if you would ask this person, they'd say, I love you. I want to work things out. And they do. However, they identify like this love with hurt a little bit, and it's very toxic, it's very draining, and it's one that you never gonna feel like you got enough. You're always gonna feel like forgotten, and that's how you grew up. You felt like you didn't get enough, that you were somewhat forgotten, that you're always forgotten, that you're the person that is the giver, the emotional giver. And I know that because you're an indigo, because you're highly sensitive and feeling, and you're different, you're unique. But being that this person continues to show you that they don't know how to like give, there's a trust issue, and really it's like you have to integrate your shadow there. Otherwise, you're going to stay in resentment, and this person is also, and then they're going to continue to, try and get attention from other people. And this is actually how they, you know, stay in this energy of not wanting to look, not seeing, unaware. And that takes you off your path, your spiritual path, which is all about your future, which we said you're in a place of creating right now. You're on your soul's path. You are doing. And so you're determined to put all your energy in your future to create the life that you want to create. That's where it shows. This is where your focus is. And you're dealing with again, you don't know how hard that it was for me to let you go, and I left you before you could leave me. So there's so much ego. There's so much strategizing. And it's because this person is fearful. It's like they feel like they need to protect. And the more that they have blocks in love, the more that those blocks are going to come out with someone that they really, really care about, that they really want to be with. They sabotage themselves. Because for you, what I feel like it's all about trust. It's all about trust. And because it's, again, without the trust, there's no intimacy. And as a highly sensitive person, you're an empath, you're a deep person. So you would want to make this work because you'd say, oh, you have all the ingredients. But if this person doesn't know how to fix this and doesn't know how to heal it, it would just be that relationship where you get into and you keep trying to put the square peg into the circle hole. The person's just not capable. And it's because they're not on the same vibration as you. You're doing what you love. You're in this vibration of unconditional love. Now, the universe tell us how we can balance out this energy, because this energy is, the pits. It's like, because it's like you have love there, but look at the person who plays a lot of games. They play a lot of games because of their past, but it's like, and your person was more concerned about you leaving and then looking stupid, them looking like their ego. They were more concerned about how they were going to look than the and being vulnerable than really connecting with you, making you feel safe. And that's what this is about. And this is the spiritual karmic wound, the shadow of I can't be loved, I'm not enough, I can't get enough. Like, people are never there for me, I'm always there for them. That's your spiritual theme. So what does Spirit say is the healing message? Let's see. Practice. Every day I practice my ability to reach my desires. So it's, again, a lot of times everything's a faith walk, right? It's like we don't know the destination, but if you know what makes you happy, you invest your time there. You become the vibration of love by doing what you love, by becoming what you love. You won't then attract people that they're in such a state of conflict. Like this connection that you have, your person probably would be the most lovely person, but they've been in one too many bad relationships. They are the main equation in every single one of their situations, which means that they're codependent, that they keep creating the same experience. And what I see here by how they treated you is they breadcrumbed you. They had one foot in, one foot out. They didn't really know what they wanted. They wanted you to chase. They didn't want to say, I'm sorry. They wanted to be in their ego. They didn't really want to show anything. They wanted you to give everything. And so that's somebody that's heart's closed. When people are in their passion, they're doing what they love, their heart's open, right? When we're doing things that we love, we connect to other people that resonate with us. We find our tribe. Again, things that open up our heart. What happens with trauma is we disconnect. We don't see different versions of ourselves over time because we stay stuck in the trauma. And so we have to, again, fake it till you make it. It's a faith walk, right? You should want to have the ambition, and you should want to have the courage to do these things for yourself, right? I mean, if unfortunately we have to walk through the fear. And so again, what we should do is find something that we love, become what we love. That means that if we keep having codependent relationships, believe it or not, it means that there's a part of our identity that's missing. We're codependent that there's a part of the self that's missing, and then we usually are attracted to someone that we perceive can do that part well. So it's almost like, oh, my twin, my other half is good at the things that I'm not, right? It's again my opposite. My opposite, but we have the same wounds because we're both codependent. Now they're not channeled out the same way. However, it usually looks like narcissist empath. And that's what I see here in this story, because you were connected to somebody that you continually or are being put in with people that emotionally don't give you, can't give you, because you were born into a family like that and you were an indigo to begin with, so you're creative. But when we emotionally don't get and we're an indigo, it pushes us even more so into the psychic mind, into the creative mind, where I believe you are creating to transmute that pain, right? When somebody is playing around with us that we care about and they're not giving us, well, again, we take that energy and we put it into creating ourselves. We're creating a buzz. That's what this story was about. The person's creating a buzz through the fact that they're just channeling all that pain into power. And in that, it's also triggering other people to become jealous. So again, whether this might be you, if you're the one that's getting triggered by those people that are jealous, and then this person that isn't giving you anything that you could feel this deep connection to, understand, I feel like you're almost at the end of the tunnel, that fog, and where you get to see the fruits of your labor. Like, and the fruits of your labor usually just could even be just entering into a new phase of life, into seeing a new way of living and being and surrounding yourself with people that are going to give you emotionally what you need, because you essentially became not codependent. You did not stay in a relationship with someone that was very one sided. You did not become subservient to that. What happened was you felt forgotten about, and that's why you put your energy there. So I feel like you're transmuting those wounds. But in order to not repeat that karmic cycle, because again, you learned it, but it looks like you didn't know why you learned it. So you don't want to wind up in another relationship and give too much again. And so that won't happen if you are really continue on your path of, creating, becoming exquisite, still being exquisite, right? Through your unique individuality and creating. And empaths and highly sensitive people, indigo people are, again, that are influencers, are making a good impact in the world. And that's what this shows. This was a story about that. So I hope that you resonated with this. And if you did, let me know. Give me a like, comment, be interactive with me. I love when you guys do. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye.